for doing my speech for me. I'm done. I'm honored and glad to be here today at Porte ISD. Good morning, Porte ISD. I've done about 10,000 speeches in my career, and this is one of the top 10 crowds, so I'm a little bit nervous. It's a tremendous honor to meet the people who do the most important job of anybody in the country. Before I say anything else, I want to say 2 words to the educators and all the Porte ISD employees that you don't hear nearly enough. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thanks to the teachers. Thanks to the principals and administrators. Thanks to the counselors. Thank you to the coaches. Thank you to the bus drivers. Thank you to the cafeteria workers. I like to eat. Thank you to the custodians and maintenance teams. Thank you to the security officers. Thank you to the aides, nurses, office staff, technology teams, and everybody working behind the scenes. You serve nearly 7,000 students and their families that depend on Porte ISD. And every single person in this beautiful building today has a tremendous role in the success of your students. You have chosen a profession that often goes unseen and too often unappreciated. But every single day you change lives for the better. And what could be more important than that? As you begin another school year, I will remind you that the future of Texas is sitting in those classrooms right here in Porte ISD. The future of America is riding your buses. The future of America is eating breakfast and lunch in your cafeterias. The future of America is playing on that great football field out there. The future of America is walking through your hallways. And every one of you today has the opportunity to influence that future for the better. Probably some of you know my story. My wife and I came to Houston in 1981. We had $3,500 in a dream. We lived in an abandoned furniture store that we took over for the first 6 months. Couldn't afford to have anybody steal our inventory. That's all we had. I didn't have a big company behind me, didn't have a lot of money, didn't even have a business plan. And I certainly didn't know everything I needed to know about selling furniture. But what I did have is what those teachers and coaches taught me in elementary school, junior high, high school, and college. I had a lot of determination. I had faith, willingness to work, and I had one belief that teachers taught me years ago. If you take care of people, people will take care of you. And throughout my 46-year career, there's been plenty of tough days. There were days we didn't have any customers. There were days when money was tight. We sweated payroll every week. There were people all over who told me I'd never make it. There were a lot of opportunities to quit. But I learned something in life from my wonderful teachers. Never, never, never give up. When you get knocked down, get back up. Get back in the fight. When something doesn't work, try something different. When somebody tells you it can't be done, don't waste your energy arguing with them. Go ahead and do it. One of my favorite statements is, don't tell me it's impossible until after I've already done it. That's what built Gallery Furniture. Not furniture, not advertising, not promotions, people, hard work, persistence, faith, and an absolute obsession with taking care of the customers. At Gallery Furniture, we ask ourselves every day, what does the customer need? What does the customer want? How do we make this easier for the customer to buy? How do we make the delivery experience better? How do we solve the problem of that particular customer? The customer is beginning, middle, and end of the discussion. It's all about the customer, not me, not about the salesperson, not about warehousing, not about deliveries, but customers. Customers are all that matter. And I believe the same principle applies to education. Who is at the center of everything at Porte ISD? The students. When you're making a decision, ask, how does it help the student? When you're solving a problem, ask, what's best for the students? When things get complicated, everybody has a different opinion, come back to the simplest question of all. What does this student need from us right now at the Porte ISD? Keep students at the center of every discussion because they're the reason we're here. They are the future of Texas, the future of the country. People might think customer service is something that belongs in retail. Certainly does, but it belongs in other places. Customer service is about serving another human being, being a servant leader, as Jeff talked about. And education may be the biggest and best service business in the world. Your students at the Porte ISD deserve exceptional service. That doesn't mean giving students everything they want. Sometimes serving somebody means challenging them to do their best, even, indeed, especially when it's difficult. Sometimes it means holding the students accountable. Sometimes it means telling them, I know you can do better. Sometimes exceptional service is spending 5 extra minutes with that student who's struggling. Sometimes it's noticing the student who's unusually quiet. Is there a problem at home? Sometimes it's calling a parent with good news rather than just bad news. And quite often it's saying, I believe in you. 4 simple words, but you never know what those words can do for that student. I know all this firsthand. When I was in 7th grade, I had a speech teacher named Mr. Hines. I remember him, I can still see his face. And he was a speech teacher. I could not give a speech. I couldn't get in front of the class and even say my name. I was terrified, mortified. Standing in front of people was my worst fear. But Mr. Hines worked with me. He encouraged me, he taught me, he pushed me. And most importantly, he believed I could do something that I didn't even believe I could do myself. Think about that. One teacher, one student, one skill, one fleeting moment in time. Today I've probably given 10 to 20,000 speeches all over the world. Speaking became an enormous part of my career and my life. I've spoken to employees, customers, business leaders, community groups, state legislators, students, organizations across Texas and across the world. But not one speech happens without Mr. Hines. He probably had no idea where that 7th grade speech lesson would lead. Teachers rarely get to see the complete return on their investment. That's one of the difficult things about your profession. You plant the seed today. Somebody else might see that tree 30 years later. But never doubt that tree grows in those students you mentor and teach. I am living proof. Mr. Hines changed my life, changed the trajectory of my life. And sitting somewhere in the Porte ISD is another student just like I was. Scared, unsure, maybe struggling at school and at home. Maybe convinced they're not good enough. Maybe afraid because they're afraid to fail one more time. And one of you can become that student's Mr. Hines. One of you can say, you can do this. I believe in you. And 50 years later, that person may be telling people about you. That's the power of a teacher. But student success isn't created, as you well know, by teachers alone. Teamwork makes the dream work here at the Porte ISD. That's true at Gallery Furniture. A salesperson can make a sale, but the warehouse pulled the wrong furniture, we fail. The warehouse can do everything perfectly, but if the delivery team damages the furniture, we fail. The delivery team can be perfect, but if somebody is rude to the customer on the telephone, we fail. The customer doesn't care about our departments. They see Gallery Furniture. Your students don't see a collection of departments either. They see LaPorte ISD. The bus driver matters. The cafeteria employee matters. The custodian matters. The teacher matters. The coach matters. The counselor matters. The principal matters. The secretary matters. The maintenance employee matters. The security officer matters. The classroom aide matters. Everybody matters. A bus driver may be the first adult from LaPorte ISD that a child sees every morning. Maybe he had a rough night at home, and that bus driver smiles and says, good morning. It matters. A cafeteria worker may notice that a child doesn't see himself today. That matters. The custodian may say something encouraging to a student walking through the hallway. That matters. A coach may teach perseverance after a loss. That matters. A teacher may discover a talent that nobody knew that student had that can change a life. There are no unimportant jobs when the mission is developing children, the future of LaPorte, the future of Texas. When you see those kids walking into your classrooms this year, somewhere among those 7,000 students could be the next great Texas scientist, the next great Texas engineer, the next great doctor, the next great teacher, the next great artist, the next great military leader, the next great world leader. The next person who invents something that changes lives may be sitting in one of your classrooms. They're already here. The question is, how do we recognize them? Who's going to encourage them? Who's going to challenge them? Who's going to teach them mathematics matters, that science matters, that reading matters, that communication matters, that discipline matters, that showing up on time matters, that hard work matters, that failure isn't fatal, that you have to fail forward fast in life, that when you get knocked down, you get up and dust yourself back up and get in the game. That's our job. We in the United States have to develop our own talent. We hear constantly about America needing more highly skilled workers. You hear the media talk about shortage of scientists, engineers, technicians, healthcare professionals, skilled tradespeople, and technology workers. We talk about bringing highly skilled workers into the United States through a program such as H-1B visas. But I want America to develop more of the talent right here at home. We want that future engineer to come from LaPorte ISD. We want that future scientist to come from LaPorte ISD. We want that future technology entrepreneur to come from LaPorte ISD. Because we have the talent right here in our own community. I have now lost my place. Bear with me here. Hello, I was on to it. So my challenge to all of us is not to get frustrated by these kids. Mr. Hines never got frustrated with me. That was 1963. 63 years ago. I think about him every day. And 63 years from now, those kids who climb on your bus every morning, those kids who eat in your cafeteria, those kids that you see as the janitor cleaning up the schools, those kids that you teach every day, those kids that come to the principal's office, you see they're just like me. They wanted somebody to believe in them. And if you believe in these kids at the Porte ISD, the future is unlimited. The United States stands at a crossroads right now. We got lots of problems. How are we going to solve those problems? We will solve those problems through the next generation of great kids that come through school districts like LaPorte. We'll solve those problems with too few technologists, too few scientists, too few engineers, too few people majoring math and scientists by teaching math and science in LaPorte ISD and educating these kids. These kids are bright, but they need direction. And that's your job and my job to give direction and encouragement to these kids. The future generation, you see, is all we have. But the future is exceedingly bright because we have wonderful people like you who have dedicated your lives to helping young people, and I salute you for that. You know, at the end of the day, all of us are going to face our Creator, whoever we may believe our Creator to be. And that time when we stand in front of our Creator is not going to ask us, how much money did you make? Our Creator will not ask us, how many material possessions did you accumulate? Instead, our Creator will ask us, what type of a difference did you make? That is the sole question that you answer at the end of life. What type of difference did I make? What type of difference did I make for my family? What type of difference did I make for my community? What type of difference did I make for my church group? What type did I make the world a better place? Every teacher in this audience, every support staff member, every bus driver, every custodian, every coach, every counselor, everybody at LaPorte ISD, I believe when you stand in front of the Creator because of what you do, dedicating your life to these young people, the Creator will say to you, well done, good and faithful servant. So my challenge for school year 2026 and 2027 is be better than you ever thought you could be. Excel, motivate those kids, overcome problems, and because you're here, make LaPorte ISD the best school district in Texas. Thank you very much.